Hello and welcome to Sophos Mdr. Today we'll be walking you through getting started with your new Sophos Central account and applying your Sophos Mdr license. If you are already a Sophos customer and have a Sophos Central account, you can skip right to the section on applying your Sophos Mdr license. Once we've shown you how to do that, we'll go through the configuration and deployment process to ensure you are set up for success. But first, what is Sophos Mdr? Sophos Mdr is a 24/7 fully managed service delivered by cybersecurity experts who specialize in detecting and responding to threats that technology solutions alone are unable to prevent. We are one of the largest providers of MDR in the world with thousands of customers across the globe. Sophos MDR is based on three core components. Threat detection leverages the technology and its capabilities to detect and neutralize threats before they become a full-blown attack. Proactive threat hunting, where Sophos analysts actively conduct hunts to identify those threats that may have evaded detection. And incident response, where our analysts respond to threats in mere minutes or even seconds, whether you need full IR or simply assistance making informed and accurate decisions. Based on Sophos Intercept X endpoint software, we automatically block 99.98% of threats, which enables our team of threat analysts to detect, investigate, and respond in record time before it can affect your business. Now let's get your new Sophos Central account set up. If you don't already have a Sophos Central account, to get started, you'll need to set up a Sophos Central trial account by completing the form and providing some basic information about your organization. You'll then receive an email with a link to complete the registration where you'll create your super admin account and choose a password. The email will look something like this. Clicking on the link will take you to complete the registration and activate your account. This will be for your main administrator. Be sure to use a strong password. You'll need to select where your data will reside and select the region that is closest to you. Next up, you will need to agree to various terms and conditions. Make sure you've read them before you continue. You have the option to enable or disable the sample submission feature. By default, our endpoint and server products will collect samples of potential malware we find on your machines. These files are encrypted and uploaded to our Sophos Labs team for analysis to help keep you protected. If you want to opt out of sample submission, you can untick this box. You can change this option at any time in the Sophos Central Global settings. If you're happy with everything, select Activate Account. Having completed the initial setup, you will be prompted to update your login information. This prompt requires a security code that will have been emailed to your newly created account's address. You will then need to create a PIN. Do not lose this PIN. It is extremely important. Now you will need to choose your application type for multi-factor authentication. By using the Sophos or Google Authenticator app on your phone, simply scan the QR code. A new code will be generated. Type this into the box below to verify your device for MFA. You received an email with your Sophos license schedule. Within the license schedule, you will find those subscriptions and licenses you are entitled to. In this case, you can see not only the Sophos MDR Complete subscription, but add-ons like Sophos NDR, the 1-year extended data storage pack, and all the third-party integration packs with their user counts and term. Further down, you will find the license key that will activate your subscriptions. Simply copy this key and log in or go back to Sophos Central. You may be greeted with the Sophos Product Setup Guide. Close that window and click on the User Profile at the top right of your Sophos Central console and select Licensing from the drop-down menu. On the licensing page, click Apply License Key and paste in the key copied from your license schedule. You will need to agree to the licensing terms and conditions to continue. Click Apply and your new license key will be applied within the console. If you have any trial licensing active, those licenses will be deactivated once your license key has been applied. Now that you've unlocked your MDR subscription, let's get things configured. After refreshing the Sophos Central portal, you should be greeted with a pop-up window asking you to configure your MDR preferences. It is critically important that you provide our team with authorized contacts. This will ensure that any MDR-related communications, including your initial MDR health check, and of course any important communications regarding threats to your organization, are sent to the right people. They also need to be Sophos Central administrators since they may need to perform actions within the console based on the MDR Ops team's feedback. After defining your contact preferences, you will need to choose your threat response mode. Note that for our Threat Advisor customers, your threat response mode is limited to Collaborate, without the authorized option for after-hours collaboration. Threat response mode can be changed at any time as often as you wish. There are 2 modes to choose from, Collaborate and Authorize. Collaborate mode will inform the designated contacts that there is an issue requiring action and will provide you with all information necessary to respond. No action will be taken by the MDR team unless approved by one of your authorized MDR contacts. There is a checkbox that allows you to give the ops team the permission to act in the event of an active threat and your contacts cannot be reached. Authorize mode gives the MDR team permission to act if they identify a threat which requires a response. We will provide detailed information on the identified threat and subsequent actions taken to mitigate the threat, along with recommendations, if applicable, to increase your security posture and prevent reoccurrence of the threat going forward. Select the mode you wish and click Save to complete your MDR preferences. Remember, these can be changed at any time and are immediately effective. If you wish to make any changes to the MDR preferences, you will find these under the Global Settings. Click on Global Settings and you will find the Manage Detection and Response Preferences. Click here and you will see Contacts, Threat Response Mode options, and a tab called Account Details where you can enter your industry vertical and your company's primary location. While it's not required, sharing your industry and location enable MDR analysts to better understand when threats may be targeting specific industries and geographic locations. Now that we've configured your MDR settings, let's make sure you're fully deployed and protected. Now let's look at how to deploy the Sophos endpoint software. Click on the Protect Devices section of your central dashboard to get started with MDR deployment. Under here you will find the installers for Windows and Mac OS. You will also find the Windows Servers installer. Sophos MDR also supports Linux, so you can download the installer from here too. There are various ways to deploy the endpoint. If you only have a handful of assets, then you can simply download the appropriate installer from here and manually run it on each device. But if you have a large number of assets, you can deploy the software using a scripted installation method. Click on How do I use installers for endpoints and servers, then click on the Learn More link to explore options. This will open the Sophos knowledge base. From here, click on Scripted Installation and choose the operating system of choice. In the case of the Windows installer, we have an article that shows you how to deploy the endpoint software to any Windows machine. There are a few different methods mentioned. You may need to adapt the instructions provided to work with your specific tools. For purposes of this walkthrough, we'll use the Active Directory Startup script. Click on the link to see some example scripts we can copy and paste straight into Active Directory tools to deploy the endpoint software at system startup. Once the software is deployed to your machines, they will appear under the Devices section of Sophos Central. Here you'll see 3 tabs: Computers, Servers, and Unmanaged Devices. The Computers tab will show your Windows and Mac OS devices. Your Servers tab will show your Windows and Linux servers. On the Computers tab, if you click on a protected endpoint, it will show you details about that machine and its protection status. Note that we can clearly see the versions of the various endpoint components installed, including the MDR version. This verifies that the asset is fully protected by MDR. If you see any computers or servers without the gray checkmark icon, this means that they are missing one or more licensed components of our protection agent. You can individually assign components per device, or you can select all computers or servers from your device inventory table and click the Manage Endpoint Software button to apply changes to all assets throughout your inventory at once. Whichever method you choose, do make sure that all of your eligible assets are fully protected with all licensed components so that our MDR team can be effective as possible. With these steps completed, you're all set. You'll be receiving a Sophos account health check from our MDR team shortly. Please take a moment to address any recommendations or requirements to ensure maximum service efficacy. You'll also receive an invitation to join the Sophos MDR community, where you'll find resources, discussions, and information on upcoming new features. If you run into any issues setting up MDR, reach out to Sophos Support for additional assistance via the support portal at support.sophos.com.